So why I love black women is that when a black woman actually is submissive, she is submissive. Now I want to touch on a point very, very quickly. And it's called the hypocrisy of modern day black women. Now, modern day black women act rough, tough, whatever it is, blah, 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 blah. And they say it's because they want the man to be this and be that and whatever it is, and then they can be this. No, that's not how it works. You cannot decide to be feminine when you want to be feminine. You understand?
Hey everyone, don't forget to hit the like button, subscribe, and also share the video.
Hey everybody, it's the Christian Jamaican Coolie, and in this video you can see the topic. It says why I married a black woman and why I love black women. Now, first of all, disclaimer alert. If you are a independent black woman, this video is not for you. If you are a passport bro, this video is not for you. Although I'm going to do a video addressing the passport bros situation and why they can be sometimes misunderstood. Reason being because I find it hypocritical that a lot of American black women will date men that fly over into America to have relationships with them, but will turn around and shame passport bros. Okay, because I'm a passport bro. I left my country of Jamaica, I came to America, and I found my wife. That was one of my main reasons for coming to America. My first main reason is because they destroyed my business. I had no money to rebuild it, whatever. That's a story for another time. Now, let's talk about reason one of why I love black women. Reason one, compatibility. Out of all the ethnicities that I've dated, and I believe I have dated enough ethnicities. I've dated a Colombian woman, I've dated a couple of Asians, I've dated a couple of whites. And when I say a couple of whites, I've dated four. I had 4 white girlfriends, and they were extremely beautiful. And one of them was super wealthy. But I believe that maybe that date, that relationship was basically me just like being a fetish for her, not her actually taking me seriously. So, I saw that for what it was. When it ended, no problem. So reason number one is compatibility. A lot of black men, you will find that you are more compatible with a black woman than you would like to think. Bedroom wise, every time I was inside a black relationship, bedroom wise, it felt more pleasurable, especially afterwards, than when I was in a relationship with other ethnicities. We always talking about, and I'm trying not to be a lewd person because I don't believe that you should be, doing stuff with somebody who isn't your wife or isn't your husband. And that's something I want to prevent for my children, because stuff like that, it's a lot of responsibility. People don't tell you this, but having intercourse is a lot of responsibility. It's a lot of responsibility. Emotional, mental, physical responsibilities. All right? And we can get into those later. You understand? Now, in terms of being compatible, bedroom wise, every time I was in a relationship with a black woman, it felt more pleasurable. I felt more drawn to that person. Like I wanted to stay with that person. I'm not talking about them throwing it down in the bedroom and they can do stuff that other races can. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about like how it made me feel inside my body, especially after the act was done. After the act was done, I just felt more drawn to that person. I felt at one with that person. And that's why, again, I want to say we shouldn't be sleeping around with people. We call women all sorts of names and we turn around and we sleep with them. And I'm going to tell you a story from my neighborhood when I was growing up. You had this girl in the neighborhood, her name was Mandy. And all the young youths in the neighborhood, they were sleeping around with Mandy. And they had a story about Mandy, about how Mandy was crazy, and Mandy was this, and Mandy was that. And, you know, me being a young disciple of Christ at the time, you know, reading the word as much as I can, there was a scripture verse that came to me. And I sat the young men down, right? I'm going to start cuss them up, start tell them off and stuff, and said to them, say, yo, you guys are no good. No good. Because you guys on the talk story about the girl, how she crazy, how she this, how she that, and yet still all of you slept with her. What does that say about you? You call the girl crazy, but you slept with that crazy person. You, a sane person, in your right mind, slept with a crazy person. What does that say about you? And you see, I had my Bible with me at the time. And I took out the Bible and I read the Bible verse. And I said to them, say, do you not know that when you sleep with a harlot, you become one with her in spirit? You know, they probably didn't listen to me. Thought I was crazy for cussing them out and stuff like that. But, you know, I think it's very important that we understand that a lot of the problems that we are facing in life is because you become one with somebody in spirit. And you tend to take up a lot of the spirits that they have gathered from sleeping with other people. You understand what I'm saying? They have gathered these spirits from sleeping with other people. And we have to be careful of that, people. We can't constantly be sleeping around. But not to stay away from the point. The main point that I love, the reason why I love black women so much, is definitely because of compatibility. I am more compatible, you know, intercourse wise, mentality wise, and maybe the struggle wise too as well, with a black woman. Now I want to quickly tell you a story about how I met my wife. I was living with my ex at the time. We were renting an apartment. My ex and I, we had gotten back into a second relationship. The people always say the second time around is better. It's not. The thing about it is that how I got back into a relationship with my ex, and I made a video about this, but I guess I have to redo the video about abuse I faced. My ex promised me she would go and get counseling. She promised me if I got back with her, she would go and get counseling. This was about 4 years after we had broken up. We had gotten back together. And we gotten back into a relationship, and about the month after we got back into a relationship, my ex was abusive again. And I said to her, I'm done, I'm out. By the end of the month, I am leaving. I'm paying my half of the rent and I'm leaving. I'm leaving the relationship. I'm not dealing with this anymore. I'm not dealing with you anymore. I'm done. You understand? I tell her, say, listen, I gave you a chance. I came back, I gave you a chance. You understand? And you still, you won't seek counseling. You're abusing me and stuff like that. I'm not getting back into it. I'm sorry. So, you know, while this relationship was, you know, basically done, we still lived together. We still were civil to one another. she went to see whoever she was seeing and stuff like that, and I was on a dating site called Black People Meet. So on Black People Meet, I was talking to several women. Several. I mean, I think it's a nice site. I was also on OkCupid, and of course, the worst of them all, Plenty of Plenty of Fish. I think Plenty of Fish is the worst. It's the worst, even though it's free and stuff like that. Plenty of Fish is the worst. Match is the Match, to me, Match is the best. There's another one I had joined. I don't remember what it is. I had met some people on that one too. But Match to me is the best. Match.com is the best. Even though you have to pay for it. For Match.com, there are better quality women on it, in terms of like women who they're mostly like the women that I spoke to were humble. I can't say for other men experience, but the women I spoke to were humble. You know, we went out, we had a good time, we had relationships, and it was what it was. Match, that's where I met like two of my white girlfriends. The other time I met them in downtown Philly. If you would like to meet people, downtown Philly is a great place to meet a mix of people. A lot of Asians, lot of white women, lot of black women in downtown. And one of the things I like to do is just to walk around downtown when I'm going to Burlington. I love to shop at Burlington because of the prices. I don't care what people say. I'm not wealthy. I'm not going to pretend that I am wealthy. I am going to shop where I can. That's where I met a lot of people and went out on dates, got a lot of numbers. There I did the 7-day. There's this thing I did back home. Back home, when I said that I wanted to meet a girl, have a girlfriend, I have this thing, I call it the 7-day test. Now, the 7-day test is basically when you go out and you get as much numbers for 7 days that you can. Now, you must understand this. There's something called the rule of 1. If you get 10 numbers as a man, more than likely, you're only going to get one person as a girlfriend, or one response from that person. So, you know, that's what I kept in my mentality when I was going out. The rule of 10. So when I went to downtown for that whole week and stuff like that, that week that I was off and I was, you know, seeking a girlfriend, I just went out, spoke to women. Some of them I didn't even get a number. Sometimes I just wanted to talk to people because I was lonely, you know, just to see what was on somebody's mind. You know, I was like, hey, what do you think about this situation, this in politics and stuff like that? I'd stop a white woman, I'd stop a black woman, I would stop anybody. There were women that were jogging. There was this time, this woman, she was jogging and she made eye contact with me. And basically I kept walking and I was just like, you know, bouncing and stuff. After those, she smiled and stuff. But the woman, like, she jogged backwards and past me and was like staring at me again. I was like, all right, so I guess I have to get your number now. So, you know, I said, I was like, I didn't know people could jog in reverse. She started to laugh because that's the first thing that come to my mind. Like, just making a joke to make somebody, to break the ice. So, you know, she started to laugh. And I said, boy, you look like you're busting you're busting the weight, man. You know, I'd love for you to bust my weight too. She start laugh again. You know, it's a Jamaican thing. It is a Jamaican, I can tell you. Women, right? This is no disrespect to other cultures. But if you want to be romanced, just talk to a Jamaican man. Like instantly, that man will bust lyrics. Something that we call lyrics. You see me? Jamaican man call it lyrics. So, yo, trust me. My goal is always to make a situation light-hearted. If a situation gets too serious, like I mean not too serious in terms of like saying yo I love you all that stuff. No, like too serious like you're just talking about serious things like politics and blah 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 blah. Then you know there's no room for you to be attracted to the person or for the person to be attracted to you. Anyway, so you know, the rule of 7, the rule of 10. I did the rule of 10, but I got more than 10 numbers in that day, in that week. I mean, you know, out of that, only 3. I was able to go out with 3 women. The other thing is this is that I don't look down upon women. I don't care where you work. I find it respectful if you're working. And if you're pretty, oh, I can't tell you how many times I went into Burger King and I started to talk to a cashier and get that cashier's number. And went into Popeyes and did the same thing. And went into Rite Aid and did the same thing. You understand? So, you know, it's just, listen, a woman is a woman is a woman is a woman. You understand? A woman is a woman is a woman is a woman. Anyway, moving on. Back to the point of black women. So, why I love black women is that when a black woman actually is submissive, she is submissive. Now, I want to touch on a point very, very quickly. And it's called the hypocrisy of modern day black women. Now, modern day black women act rough, tough, whatever it is, blah, 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 blah. And they say it's because they want the man to be this and be that and whatever it is, and then they can be this. No, that's not how it works. You cannot decide to be feminine when you want to be feminine. You understand? Because truth be told, when these white women they're around when these black women they're around white men, the white man does not have to wait for her to, you know, be feminine. She just comes feminine. You understand? And I'm like, that's not fair. It's not fair for black women to treat black men in this way. You should give black men the same energy that you would give a white man if you liked him. He is no more special than a black man. We bleed the same blood. We drink water. We breathe air. And we all have to use the toilet. There's nothing more special about him than me. You understand me I say? So, to the black women that are watching this video, it is not fair for you to say stuff like, if a black man behave this way, then I will behave feminine and stuff like that. When I first met my wife was extremely feminine. And I thank Yah for that. I thank Yahuwah for that. That she was extremely feminine. You understand? As a matter of fact, most of the women that I dated in America were feminine. Black, white, Asian, it didn't matter. They were feminine behaving. Now, again, I'm not addressing the passport bros. I'm not calling nobody no names because, again, I am a passport bro. Again, I left my country and found my wife in America and built my family. So I believe that any man who feel that basically them need to go elsewhere and go find a wife, so be it. What I am against is men who basically, what their problem was is that they didn't have what Americans call game, and they couldn't get any women, so them use them. They couldn't get the women that they sought, you know. So them use them financial resources, them go to another country, get women, and basically intercourse, exploit them. And do the same thing that they complain that American women are doing, which is, oh, they're sleeping around, them have a high body count and stuff like that. But they go to another country and increase the body count of another woman. That's the hypocrisy I'm speaking of. But if a man basically say, yo, him can't find a wife where him is, and him go and him find a wife, you cannot shame him for that. You can't shame him for that. The fact of the matter is, if him just don't feel like him can find a wife where him there, and him can find a wife elsewhere, then that's his thing. Alright, so when a black woman is submissive, she's submissive indeed. And dare I say, more submissive than other ethnicities that I have actually been with. Out of all my girlfriends that were submissive, the two black ones, which is my wife right now, and the one before her, well, no. Oh wow, I have too much exes. And one of my exes, she was extremely submissive. The abusive one, she was extremely submissive, but she loved lick fire shot too much. Anyway, because she would cook, she would clean, she would cater to my every need as a man, but she would lick fire and then like beat me up. Off, lick fire underneath my skin. The third reason I love black women is because of their strong will to survive. We never talk about it and stuff like that. It may be turned out incorrectly because of how hardened society has made them. But to me, I feel it's a good thing. And the reason why I'm saying is that you'll find that, you know, a lot of black women are, not all, I'm not saying all, but a lot of black women are very resourceful in terms of, like, you know, being able to get certain things done. And because they've had to do it for themselves, because they didn't have their fathers around or they didn't have a man around, so they had to find a way. They had to find a way to do it. Now, this is bad. It's bad that they have to do this. It's bad that they don't have their fathers. And you have to blame the men just as much as you have to blame the women. You have to blame the men because you men planted the seed inside the woman and left it. Regardless of if the woman was bad or not, you should have sucked that up. My father used to say, find somewhere to put your head before you find somewhere to put your dick. You understand? Some of you black men don't have a house, you don't have a car, you don't have a job, but yet still you plant seed in a woman. Now, you black women, you're just as bad. Some of these black men don't have nothing about them. And you're allowing a black man that is of no value or no worth planting seeds in you. And then you turn around and blame other black men for your own choices. You turn around and you blame black men for your bad choices. And then you build up a wall for when you even find a good black man that would basically even take you with the child that you had for another black man. You build up a wall and you give that man subpar love. And it's not right. Anyway, I didn't finish the story about how I met my wife. I met my wife through blackpeoplemeet.com. And when I was talking to my wife, I was working 2 jobs. I was working as a manager of a junkyard and I was working as a gymnastics coach for a gym. So I was at the junkyard in the morning and then I was at the gym coaching in the evenings. my wife says that that was something that really turned her on about me. The thing about it, I was looking for a third job. I was looking for a third job. You have no idea how much I love the grind. I have a problem, and I need to get rid of it. When the pandemic happened, I mowed the lawn 3 times. But what I did, I just lowered the inch of the blade every time. I had nothing to do. I couldn't do it. When the pandemic happened, I was out of my mind. My wife, I fixed every ratty thing in the house. Anyway, not to stay away from the point. We want to go back to it. How I met my wife is that, we're talking on Black People Meet, and, I liked her pictures of how natural she looked. My wife never had on any makeup. And that's what really drew me to her. Her hair, it was like fluffy, and her beauty. My wife was such a beautiful woman. Oh my goodness. Not even was, still is. Still is a very pretty woman and stuff. So basically now, we schedule a meetup date for Saturday. So I let my ex know that, I'm going out on a date and thing. And my ex, because she wasn't getting along with her man, her new man, she started a fight with me. Excuse me. And she took my keys. She took my house keys, my apartment keys. So I took her apartment keys, right? Because she was going to drop my apartment keys outside off the balcony. So I take her apartment keys too. I'm going to hold it over the balcony as well. I'm start dangling it over the balcony as well. This neighbor come out now, right? And I know this neighbor was into my ex. I knew it. Like, dude, I hate third wheel people. So she's dangling my keys above the balcony. I'm dangling her keys. This guy comes out. Oh, I'm gonna call the cops, and when they come, they're not gonna pick her up. They're gonna pick you up and stuff like that. And my ex was like, yeah, and you don't want to get picked up by the cops and stuff like that. So I'm like, all right. So I apparently had to leave the apartment without my keys to get back in. I went, met my wife in downtown Philly, took her out took her out to Starbucks, because I said that I didn't want to spend on a date. I want to get to know this person from talking. So we walked to Starbucks in downtown, sat down, start to talk. And same time as we sit down now, I lock my foot. I don't know if anybody knows what foot locking is, but I locked my foot on my wife. And like 5 minutes into the date, there's this guy. He came over to us and it's like, I don't want to disturb you guys, but I'm seeing a vision of you two having 2 children. And I'm like, dude, I don't even and I hate when people do that, because you don't even know. It kind of spoils stuff for you. But I look back at it, it may have been a messenger of Yah telling us what our future was going to be. So this guy was like, you're gonna have 2 children and you're gonna have the girl first. So I was like, I kind of flashed it off and I was like, yeah. I don't even know if this is going to go any point beyond what it is tonight. I just met this person for 5 minutes and you're already telling me this. So that's why even later on, my wife can tell you that we believe that it was an angel, a messenger of Yah, telling us what our future was going to be. So in any case, we had a good time. And one of the things I have to tell you, men, when you go out on a date, you have to do your best to break the touch barrier. And what I mean by touch barrier is that, do stuff like this, like hold her hand, give it a little kiss, stuff like that. don't be too intrusive, but just like do small things, very small things. But one of the things that I have found through dating that is important for you to progress in a relationship is that you must learn to break the touch barrier, especially on the first date. If you manage to break the touch barrier on the first date, you are more than likely going to know if this is going to turn into a relationship or if it's just, a waste of time. In any case, my wife and I spoke about a lot of things. And one of the things that we spoke about is, what we wanted. So my wife asked me, what are you looking for? And I told her, I said that I'm looking for a relationship. And this is what I've told women ever since I came to America. Every time I got into a relationship, didn't matter if it was white, didn't matter if it was black. But I told them that I'm looking for a relationship that is going to turn into marriage in either 1 or 2 years. You understand? So, my wife, she heard that and she said, same thing. Anyway, after our first date, we had a couple of dates, we made love, things like that, and, I moved out of the apartment I was renting with my ex and, moved in with my wife in her apartment and paid the bills there. One of the things that I would like to say to us men, but I'm going to leave it for a part 2. Yeah, I'm going to leave it for part 2. This is where I'm going to stop the video. But if you like the video, comment, like, comment, rate, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace. Enough love and respect.